In our first story tonight, President Akufo-Addo has announced plans to construct more than 300 dams across the country as part of government's One Village, One Dam policy, expected to ensure all-round farming. This was one of the campaign promises made by the governing MPP prior to the 2016 elections. The policy is aimed at ensuring a modern irrigation system in place to enable farmers grow their crops all year round. Addressing the 2017 Farmers' Day celebration held in Kumasi, President Akufo-Addo said modernization of agriculture remains key to government.
In line with government's target of promoting all year-round cropping, preparatory activities are ongoing to implement the One Village, One Dam agriculture development agenda. I can report that 320 small dams and dugout sites in 64 districts in the northern part of the country have been earmarked for development. Additionally, 192 will be evaluated in 2018 for development there. A provisional list of 51 dams in Volta, Greater Accra, and Central regions has been submitted for consideration for rehabilitation.
The president also revealed development of road networks linking farms to market centers will receive attention in 2018.
In addition to this facility is the Outgrower and Value Chain Fund, which has been available for the past 7 years. We would use these instruments to increase access to finance and encourage the much needed private sector investment in agriculture. Road infrastructure has also been identified as critical for private sector investment in agriculture. Consequently, we are intensifying our efforts to develop the road network through the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. There is also support from the multilateral institutions for the development of a good number of strategic roads in the country.
Well, Member of Parliament for Garo constituency in the Upper East Region, Albert Akuka Alauzuk-Gar, is asking government to complete the Tamni Dam in the Garo-Tampani district to help farmers in the area. This, according to him, has become more critical to give meaning to government's Planting for Food and Jobs initiative. Construction of the dam was initiated by the previous administration to provide water for activities of farmers in Garu and its surroundings. It was, however, abandoned due to the lack of adequate funding. Speaking to Joy Business, Member of Parliament for the area said it would be prudent to complete the dam before constructing a new one planned under the One Village, One Dam initiative.
The government of any regime embarks on towards promoting agriculture is a welcome news. Water is very critical in the success of the implementation of any agricultural policy, and so One Village, One Dam is a laudable policy, as I mentioned. It is how it will be implemented. That is what we are looking up to. But the mention of it makes everybody happy to hear that they are bringing a dam to every village. We have over 200 villages in my constituency alone, and so the people will be happy to have 200 dams in my constituency.
Yes, Honorable, but you went through the 2018 budget, at least the portions on that. Are you satisfied with the allocations made for it?
Thank you very much. I can say that, as I mentioned, if we want to, leave politics out of some of these policies and want to speak the truth, the fact is that maybe about some few dugouts or maybe some smaller dams can be there. But when you talk about a dam, you have to be able to distinguish between a dugout and a dam. I don't know whether the policy is about coming up with dugouts. Already, the previous administration, under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, awarded a very multi-purpose dam in the district. That is the Tamne irrigation system. That is a very huge dam. That is a huge facility that we are very happy and looking forward to its completion. I think the completion of that dam would create more jobs and take off most of these young people who travel down south looking for, non-existing greener pastures. So we are happy to hear that the current government wants to, expand more dams or want to construct more dams in the three northern regions. The only concern, like I said, is that we will need to have the existing dam completed because it's a huge infrastructural system.
Okay. How many communities does it serve?
Oh, it will serve virtually the more than half of the whole area. I can assure you of that, because it passes through several communities. And once water is dumped, it will surge upwards, and then it will bring more. Many people can even, just shallow dams. Or dig some water, because the water table will rise, for upstream. And so all those communities that are upstream, because the water is dumped, they can easily have access for water to farm.
The MP also commended farmers in the area for their outstanding contribution to the economy.
Let me use this opportunity to congratulate all the hard-working farmers from the Kusak area, particularly Garu area, for keeping the economy. Like I said, the economy of the whole of that area is driven by the farmers. It is basically the small-scale farmers.
Ghana is said to have irrigation potential of 1.9 million hectares, but just about 12% or 221,000 hectares is being utilized. This means about 88% of the irrigable area presents significant investment opportunities. Still on Agric, and some stakeholders are making a fresh case for government to introduce a flexible credit facility for farmers. Such a facility, according to them, is critical in driving the country's economic growth with Agric by attracting the youth into the sector. The program's coordinator of the Peasant Farmers Association, Charles Nyaba, and the General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, Edward Caraway, spoke on the marketplace.
The challenge is how to transform the smallholder farmer from dependency to independence. And modernizing agriculture is one of the ways to do so. But the unfortunate thing is that we have lamented about this issue. We have talked about this issue by successive governments. But when it comes to the implementation, there is always a hitch. With the planting for food and jobs, if you look at the scope of it and what is in it, is to provide improved seed and then subsidize fertilizer. That on itself enables the farmer to increase productivity.
Which is nothing new, is it?
Which is nothing new. So if that is what would modernize agriculture, it is left to you and I to know whether, if it's not new, how does it change the status quo? But we seem not to be really ready to.
I'm getting a sense then that we have lost focus when it comes to the agric sector and how to make it put it where it used to be in terms of its contribution to GDP. I get the sense from both of you. Is that what it is, that we have lost focus when it comes to dealing with the challenges with agric?
Yeah, for me, you see, certain times I say the view of government. Our previous and current government are doing a lot. They are trying their best. They all agree that agriculture is the mover. Agriculture is the change maker. But how to do it becomes a problem. We were talking about government distribution seeds and fertilizer. I think beyond that, there's a component of extension services, which when you talk of agriculture modernization, you cannot do without them. Now let's look at the strategy of engaging extension services under this program. You realize that it's not something that's sustainable. So if you ask of my view, I think that we should move away from a stage where government go around distributing fertilizer, distributing seed, to rather create the environment for the farmers to decide on the commodity that they want to produce. Now, let me just give one example. You go to the Middle Belt from Techima, Nkranza, Kintampo, Atabubu area. That used to be the basket of maize in Ghana. Today, you go there and more than 50% of the farmers who were producing maize now change into producing cashew. Why did they go into cashew production? Because there is a market in cashew. So what we need to do is not to tell farmers they produce this commodity, but we create the environment for farmers to see that when I produce this commodity, I'll get market. When you do that, the farmers themselves are rational. They will tone that line. Now, beyond that, one problem that we continue to have since 1950s, as I mentioned, is access to credit. Today, smallholder farmer is not able to go to bank and take credit because when you go there, they ask for collateral, which you don't have. So all what government need to do is that just create an enabling environment, put a fund somewhere that will guarantee banks that, look, if you give this money to the farmers, we will cater for the risks. When you do that and then your government sit back and just play that coordinating role, I'm telling you, we'll move from where we are to another level.
Well, still on the subject of Agric productivity, Chief Executive of Agritech company Trotro Tractor, Kamal Yakub, has urged government to leverage technology to boost the Planting for Food and Jobs campaign. Government is putting the focus on the Planting for Food and Jobs policy as the country marks Farmers' Day today. The campaign, among others, is expected to address the declining growth of the sector to GDP. Mr. Yakub says technology will bring the much-needed innovation to stimulate growth.
It's an opportunity for us to look in and apply innovation. So, for example, government brings out Planting for Food and Jobs. Planting for Food and Jobs means a lot of production that is going to be increased. And when production increases, you would have a lot of marketing activities. So I would do marketing if I'm a young man. I would be looking at how to link this higher production from farmers to consumers. And I would be doing that with data. And data means I have to sit down and do some analytics. Analytics means that I have to sit down and code. So that is where technology comes in.
But are you impressed about how far we have used technology? Because the campaign has been going on for a while. Do you see a push in using technology to achieve this purpose?
I think I'm not impressed entirely, but this government is showing a lot of interest in agriculture. So they organized Tech in Agriculture, and for the first time, Tech in Ghana conference last week. And for the first time, I have seen agriculture companies like my own being featured in. And so there is some progress. Yeah.
Okay, but we are not exactly there. What do you think would take more young people like you to venture into agriculture? Because I see there's also a push to get more young people into the sector.
Access to capital, number one. Access to environment that would help young people build businesses that would sustain. For example, if you look at what Cosmos Energy is doing with their Cosmos Innovation Center, that is what gave birth to Trotro Tractor, because they allow you to think outside the box on how to solve problems with using technology in agriculture, and they give you all the necessary support that you need. For example, financial support, technical support, the incubation platform, so you don't have to worry about rent, you don't have to worry about food, you don't want to worry about internet, and focus on bringing technology into agriculture. And so a lot of processes like this, or a lot of activities like this would make young people enter into agriculture and apply technology.
In other news tonight, Newmont Gold Mining Limited has maintained its position as #1 in corporate Ghana. This is after the mining firm emerged tops in this year's edition of the Ghana Club 100 rankings, again after a similar feat in the previous year. Ebenezer Sabute was at the awards ceremony organized last night and reports.
The rankings is an annual compilation of the top 100 companies in Ghana in terms of profitability and asset size, among others. This year's awards was held last night to recognize best performing companies in 2016. After emerging tops in last year's edition, Newmont maintained this position. The chief executive of Newmont, Gray Goldberg, spoke to Joy Business about their feat.
The other people that help us to achieve this place, the people on the trucks in the mine, the digger operators, the process people, the service people, our communities around us that help us as well. We're working well together. It is all a nice formula to work and to actually get some, in that way, to get some gold out of the ground in a safe and environmentally and community responsible way. And I'm really proud of the team, the people, the communities, all that makes it work. And with that we'll be able to indeed create wealth for our not only shareholders but stakeholders.
Aside from Newmont, the others that make up the top 5 include MTN Ghana, Goil, Goldfields and Vivo Energy, popularly known as Shell. MTN Ghana also emerged the largest company in 2016. Samuel Cranton is the acting corporate service executive.
We at MTN indicate that we are making our subscribers' lives a whole lot brighter, and we'll continue to invest in our network and in this country. And we're grateful for the declaration by the senior minister as to government's commitment in continuing to create an enabling environment for businesses like ourselves to thrive.
This year's edition of the Ghana Club 100 Awards was under the theme Industrialization, a Tool for Job Creation and Accelerated Economic Development.
We are turning to the domestic aviation industry, and Africa World Airlines has denied increasing airfares in response to the increase in demand. This follows concerns by some passengers who allege the airline has taken advantage as the sole domestic carrier in operation currently to increase its fares. There's more in this report.
According to Africa World Airlines, there has been an increase in its flight bookings after last weekend's incidents, which saw the aircraft of its competitor, Starbow Airlines, skid off the tarmac. But the chief operating officer of Africa World Airlines, Captain Thompson, insists the price of their air tickets remain the same despite the monopoly.
We are not changing the price of our tickets. The way the system operates is that when you book early, you get a certain fare, and as the flight fills up, the fares go up. So what a lot of people might realize is that because there might be a rush to fly Africa World, the tickets in the low fare class would finish pretty quickly, and so when they come they will get a higher fare class. But these fares have been in existence all this while, so it is not a change or an increase in fares, no. It is just that the classes get filled up much quicker.
Captain Thompson adds plans are underway to adjust their flight frequencies to help meet the increased demand.
If there is a need, we will look at how we can satisfy that need or satisfy that demand. And it will all stem from what kind of bookings that we get or what kind of reservations that we get. So when there is a need to do an extra flight or put on more flights to any of the destinations, we'll look at how best we can handle it, and then we'll do it. Don't forget we have constraints that some of the domestic stations are not, they can't operate after certain hours into some of the places. So that is a constraint. So as best as possible, we'll try and absorb all the passengers that will come up.
Sheila Tamaklu for Joy Business.
Fuel consumers beginning today are insulated from paying high costs of the commodity at the pump. This is because government has decided to stabilize prices of petroleum products until its price stabilization mechanism captured in the Energy Sector Levies Act 2015, that is under that levy. Now, as a result, all oil marketing companies and LPG marketing companies have been notified by the petroleum regulator, NPA, to reviewed the prices of the products in line with the revised price stabilization and recovery levy. Joining us on the line is a Principal Research Officer at the Institute for Energy Security, Richmond Roxon. Thanks very much for your time tonight. I want to first ask you what you think about this move by government.
Good evening to you, and good evening to your cherished viewers. First and foremost, I think that it's important we set the record straight that there's some misleading reports that government has reduced for prices, particularly diesel or gas oil or what we call Agric and LPG by some 70%. That is inaccurate, and that is total falsehood. When you look at the price build-up, there are a number of components or a number of indicators. We have ones that are static and we have ones that are variable. For the variable ones, you have crude oil price on the international market. You also have the cedi to dollar exchange rate. You also have the FOB, that's the free on board for finished products. For finished products, you look at LPG, you look at gasoline and gas oil prices on the international market. And also you look at the demand and supply aspect, because definitely demand and supply has an effect on pricing. What government has done is that in the component or the price build-up, there's a component called price stabilization and recovery levy. The price stabilization and recovery levy is meant for stabilizing prices when prices go up. It's also meant for under-recoveries, and it's also meant for shoring up or supporting premix and RSO. This time round, over the period, we have said that government should be able to apply the price stabilization and recovery levy, because it's 12 pesos on gasoline or what we call petrol, 10 pesos on gas oil or what we call diesel, and 10 pesos on LPG. But it has never been applied on any of these three major products before. What government is doing this time is that it has decided that in the price build-up, it's going to cut the 10 pesos to 3 pesos and use the price stabilization and recovery levy to support it. So cutting it from 10 pesos to 3 pesos is a difference of 7 pesos. That is how come you are seeing people bundling 70% around that it's been reduced by that margin, but it's never accurate. It is misleading. What government has done is that it has only cut down that component in the meantime to support it with a price stabilization and recovery levy. It hasn't reviewed it downwards totally. Because if you want to review it downwards totally, you have to go through Parliament, because it's ESLA, Energy Sector and Levy Act. So you need to go to Parliament for Parliament to reduce it. So that is the component that government has reduced, which will translate to 7 pesos at the pump. 7 pesos.
Because we are also being told that this is not going to have any effect on petrol prices, really. And so that will lead me to my next question that has to do with your projection as far as fuel prices are concerned. For the first pricing window of December, you are projecting that the prices would remain stable. Does that mean that this move by government would have little impact on prices, really?
This move by government is not going to have any significant impact. The most impact it can have will be 1% on the ex-pump price. 1%, mark my words, you can mention anywhere. And when government rolls it out, supposed to start 1st December, as of now, no OMC has had a price change at the pump, because it's woefully insignificant. That is how come we've said values remain stable. It's still the same even after this move by government, because 7 pesos to an OMC in the event where we are having the dollar rising from 4.48 to about 4.6, it's not going to have any impact. It's just like what happened early in this year when we had the excise duty and the revision of special petroleum tax from 17.5 to 15%. If government wants to have the impact that we all need, the most significant tax component or levy the government can touch will be the special petroleum tax, which is 15% in the price build-up. When you take that out, you're going to have over 50 pesos off the price build-up. What it means is that we're going to be having fuel prices being sold around 3 cedis 90 pesos or 3 cedis 80 pesos. That's more significant. But with the current arrangement, consumers must be careful they don't fight with attendance, because
just a quick one before we go, in about 30 seconds if you can. You're also warning about the city's performance and its impact on pricing going forward. How dire is the situation?
It is really dire. Like I mentioned, the last 2 weeks, we've had the cedi depreciating from around 4.48 to about 4.6. When you go to the forex market, aside the banks, you can get about 4.7, between 4.7 and 4.73. And that is dangerous for the industry, the petroleum sector. If we don't take time and this continues by January, we'll be paying 5 cedis per liter to 5 cedis for a liter of fuel in this country. And it's important that government takes necessary steps to cushion the consumer and to be able to deal with the situation that we have now. All
right. Thanks very much indeed, Richmond Roxon. He is a Principal Research Officer at the Institute for Energy Security. His thoughts on fuel prices. We'll move on now to our interview of the day, and business executives are now exploring innovative means of networking. Some, for instance, now meet over aromatic barbecue to promote business in a relaxed atmosphere with live music and beverages. Sounds good. Well, the Ghana Customer Service, in collaboration with the GH Barbecue Alliance, is organizing such an event dubbed the Corporate Ghana Barbecue and Customer Service Expo 2017, which has been going on today and will continue tomorrow. The event seeks to present a platform for organizations to showcase their customer-focused initiatives as well as products or services. Hector Wolf is the Chief Executive of the Ghana Customer Service Excellence.
Ghana Barbecue and Customer Service Fair is a business over barbecue event, and the aim is to bring the business community together over barbecue, not just to discuss business, but also to do business at a relaxed atmosphere, and then with good music and good barbecue, whilst we do business at the same time, and to promote customer service.
What kind of particular businesses are we expecting at this time?
We are expecting businesses across the industrial spectrum, i.e. hospitality, financial services, insurance, banking, and so on and so forth. We are also expecting those in fashion and cosmetics and accessories also to be there, because we're going to have a sales bonanza too at the event. But the whole thing is about business promotion, networking over barbecue.
Is it the first time? Is it going to be the last? Or how are you going to plan it?
With barbecue, this is not the first time, but with business over barbecue, this is the first time, and it's not going to be the last, because we hope to come up with a lot of programs with regards to barbecue and business in Ghana.
What was the motivation for this program? Why this?
Yes, it's born out of the fact that barbecue draws a lot of crowd, and when people just can't wait, meet and just chew meat and go. So why don't we meet, have barbecue, and talk about business at the same time, network, promote our businesses too.
And that's it for the holiday edition of Business Live. Thanks for watching. My name is Daryl Carr. We are back next week.